Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The moment you've been waiting for is come to pass.
Right, just like when the debates were on TV, they had the countdown on
Exactly.
CNN. Oh, days, hours, and minutes, seconds even.
Oh, God, the debates.
I did something yesterday. I watched both of them,
Both of them?
the whole thing,
Yeah.
end to end. And yesterday, I did something. I turned on CNN to see, every station's talking about what the debate was. So I said, well, let's just see what CNN's saying. You'd have thought the world was coming to an end. They are lamenting the fact that, boy, these Democratic candidates are fighting with each other and saying bad things about Obama. They've got to stop that.
They've got to stand in a circle and sing Kumbaya.
That's right. They cannot.
And they can't have any independent thought
No,
process
don't challenge.
at all.
One should not challenge the other.
By the way, Joe Biden this morning, it was probably yesterday, it was a clip of Joe Biden. And some talking head said to him, well, let me be clear about this. Is there any room for fossil fuel in a Biden administration?
Good question.
Absolutely not. No coal, no
Oil,
fracking,
natural gas.
nothing. He said, absolutely not. Well, that runs right into I believe probably 70% of the people in this country
Oh yeah.
oppose the green proposition.
Well, you take no fossil fuels. All right, fossil fuels maybe contribute to the global warming and pollution and everything else. It's the nature of the beast. But to say we're going to eliminate it, there are so many consequences beyond just eliminating it. What are you going to do with the millions of people that you're going to put out of work? What are you going to do with companies that just are worthless now? It's the same with Medicare for all. What are you going to do with the insurance companies? There's probably 1 million people working in the insurance industry.
Oh, more than that.
Or more than
Right.
that. I think there was 5 million or something. Yeah. Just like that, they're unemployed.
Well, they can go to work for the government.
Oh, yeah.
On that program.
They don't
yeah.
think about anything like that.
No. So what? And no fracking.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the big problem the Greens have with fracking? Well, first of all, they said it was safety.
Yeah. Well,
There hasn't been a single accident.
no, it hasn't. But they got the idea that when you frack, they think a lot of them think they cause earthquakes.
They're
And all you're doing is drilling down, putting in high pressure water with a grit or a granite. It's
Yeah.
a certain type of sand that
Right.
they shoot in that, and it breaks up all the little pockets and all the stuff. So the oil will come out mixed with that water, and then of course they separate the two, and they get it. And they think it's going to pollute the groundwater.
Well, because you're putting the water back in, you see.
Yeah, but that oil's been there for millions of years.
Yeah.
If it hasn't polluted now, it's not going to pollute then.
It's madness, but the real reason is now this is just Bill Crane. Now this isn't something I read. This is me. They are really talked off that this country has found a low-cost, huge amount of oil.
Yep.
All right, easy to bring up, very competitive on the world market, and plentiful. Oh, that means there's not going to be any more research into sun power and better batteries and wind power, and that's what we want. So we'll oppose fracking.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so mad. But look what fracking has done.
Yeah.
It's made America independent as far as our energy needs are concerned. And second of all, look at the American jobs.
That's right.
We're not paying Saudi Arabia for Saudi Arabian jobs over there for their oil. We're doing it in our country and paying American people.
They will complain about it until there's a shortage. Once the gas lines come back. You remember the gas lines?
Oh, boy.
Most of you people do. And that was not fun. You wanted to go someplace, you might have to spend the day before that just cruising around looking for somebody that'll sell you 10 gallons of gas.
And of course, everybody had a friend, and he'd say, all right, look, I'm going to have a few people come to the station about 10 o'clock after I've been closed for an hour. Mm-hmm. You can come at 10:15 and I'll tank you up.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hell of a deal, huh?
Yeah, well,
That's what you had to do.
It's a matter of survival.
Yeah.
You know, some of us were on the road selling, peddling in those days. We needed that car the next morning.
And not only that, but you know what? He was taking that price and jacking it way up.
There was a Shell station that saved my bacon a couple of times. He said, I did all my work there. I had everything done there. I knew he was a couple blocks from where I lived, and he used to say, pull it in a bay. And he'd go in and somehow he'd get a gas can and bring it in and start filling it up. Otherwise, everybody else got 7 gallons or 6 gallons or something out there. And so he was very cooperative, but you had to play those games to get gas. Yeah. And there was no shortage. It was simply that OPEC decided to flex their muscles.
The embargo.
And they had us just like that.
Well, now they can't have us just like that.
Now you got players like Russia. They'll jump on this thing to. It's crazy. You don't want to be dependent on somebody else.
You know, the good thing about Russia being one of the competitors, though, is they're not deep thinkers.
No, and they don't. Everybody they want to cut back. They kind of cheat on the side.
All the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, this morning also I was doing some research on the truck drivers.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's where we started at.
Yeah.
we kind of went way off someplace.
They're looking for 61,000 drivers right now. Mm-hmm. Freight hauling is down 5% in this country. By the way, folks, here's a quick question for you. How much of the nation's total freight is moved by trucks? If you answered 70%, you're correct.
Okay.
So the median price the U.S. Department of Commerce or something puts out says the median truck driver makes $38,000 a year, but that is really skewed.
Yeah, I think there's something
way wrong. Mm-hmm. So I went to ZipRecruiter's website. The average for a long-haul trucker is $1,295 a week. $67,300 a year. Walmart has their own trucks and their own drivers. Mm-hmm. They pay their drivers $80,000 a year. Now that's when they're fully experienced.
Sure, but that's what you have to do today.
Yeah, $80,000 a year. Now that's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp
that's
stick.
Right.
However, what is the biggest problem getting truck drivers?
Probably keeping them qualified for CDLs.
Yeah. Really, it's their court records, arrests for drug.
Yep.
And that limits them right there.
Yep. Yeah, the CDL, if you get caught once drinking and driving, you're done.
All done. Amazing. So I have this, and I'm going to start with this, but a couple of things in the paper this morning. Our on-the-ball Attorney General, Maura Healey, has discovered.
McDuff, the crime dog.
Yeah. She really had her nose to the ground on this one. She discovered that the Massachusetts residents that have switched from Eversource to these new on-paper corporations.
Oh, yeah.
They get 2 months of lower costs and then whammo.
Yep.
The costs go
be
up.
careful of those, because they come up with a price, well, you can save 20% on your electric rate. Yeah, for a month or two, like Bill
Yep.
said. And after that, they'll jack you.
Well, if I recall correctly, you and I talked about this on the show 3 or 4 times.
I brought one in, somebody
Yeah.
that was green energy.
Yeah.
You don't have to have nasty old energy that was done by coal or gas or anything. You can have clean energy, renewable energy served to your house. There's no way, once that power gets into that grid, there's no way of telling who's getting what.
You know, folks, it's like making beef stew at home.
Yeah, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power people, the people that generate power, take the power. They don't send it to your house. They send it to the grid, the interconnected electrical supply for the whole country. Now, they may be in California, and
Sure.
they dump electricity into the grid. If it were possible to trace that electricity, it's not. But it could go anywhere. It could go to New Mexico. It could get routed to Iowa in a line or whatever. And it's the same thing with making beef stew. You dump it in, and you stir it all up, and then you say, oh, jeepers, I wonder if I can find how much salt I put in it. Oh, no, it's all mixed up. The electricity gets all mixed up. So they can't give you green energy. But yet, there are naive people who say, I've got to do something for the environment.
Yeah,
So I'll go ahead and I'll fill this out, and I'll buy my energy through these people. And if it costs a couple of dollars more, well, so be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. It's a scam. Get those things in the mail. I got one maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, right up, tear it in half, and fire
Throw
it
it out.
right into the wastebasket.
The
That's the one thing that I've agreed with.
I think one thing that I find is a little bit upsetting and contradictory is that when we do find a source of renewable clean energy, in this case hydropower from Quebec, and they want to bring it down, it gets to Vermont, and Vermont says, no, you're not going across our state. All the greenies there, all the environmentalists say, oh no, nope, not going to put them lines in my backyard.
You're not going to cut down my
Oh,
trees.
no, sir. You don't even have to put a tree off. They just wanted to string it across.
I know.
Oh, no, 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 no.
And you know why? Again, you go back one more time.
Yep.
I want sun power. I want wind power. And I don't want that stuff, those lines and everything. And you know what? They've talked even about burying the lines.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Nope.
No, no,
Nope.
no, no.
They are a foolish bunch of people. Look, nobody likes the wilderness better than me. Nobody
right.
likes the animals better
Both of us
than
were
me.
sportsmen.
It's a sportsman.
Yeah.
We want clean water for fishing and all that. But I got to tell you something. Every once in a while, you got to compromise just a tad and say, well, I wish this wasn't happening, but we need clean power. And look at this. Talk about renewable natural resource, water power.
Yep.
Hydroelectric water power from Quebec. Huge amounts of it. They're not tapping. They're tapping a minuscule amount.
But the environmentalists won't let you bring it in.
What a resource that is. Yeah, at that time, the federal government has really got to find a way to step in and say, you know what? All right, we're going to run it across Vermont anyway. You people can lay in the road. We'll just run over you with bulldozers.
Because we use eminent domain on a smaller scale for a lot less reasons than that. Somebody wants to build a strip mall someplace and the guy won't sell.
Yeah.
They end up today taking it by eminent domain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It used to be only for roads and things of that nature, but now they'll take it for private industry.
And do you know why, Dwayne?
Money.
Money talks.
Yeah, you bet.
Absolutely. President Trump is right about Baltimore. This is the article written by Mark Tyson. And while he scolds the president for talking poorly to Elijah Cummings, he was absolutely right when he called Baltimore dangerous, filthy, and rodent-infested. That is, if you can believe what you read in the failing New York Times. They ran an article in March, the Times, about Baltimore. Man, did they call it like, just, they were shown a block where prostitutes gathered, and there was piles of uncollected garbage, and a liquor store that allowed drunks to congregate while pretending to wait for a bus, dead rats, and they wrote, they quoted, they said, regression has been swift and demoralizing, the Times wrote, adding the officials have struggled to respond to the rise in disorder, leaving residents with the unsettling feeling that there was no one in charge. And yet the federal government sent $1.8 billion to Baltimore. And President Trump, rightfully so, is saying we need an audit on where did that money go.
Absolutely. It's the kind of thing you can't bring to light a problem today because you're going to get called a racist.
A misogynist.
You're going to get called some names.
Homophobic.
Because it's dealing with the present government in Washington, D.C. Now, this Baltimore thing, 2 or 3 years ago, Comrade Bernie Sanders said, it's like a third world country. We've got to do something about it. Was he criticized for it? No. Not the previous mayor, the mayor before in Baltimore, they showed a clip walking through the neighborhoods, she and her entourage, and she said, this is terrible. If we own this strip, we could tear this crap down. She said, you can smell the dead rats around here. This is terrible. We got to do something about this city. Was she criticized for it? No, she was heralded.
Yeah.
Look, she's addressing the problem.
Yeah.
But when somebody else says, if
when
Trump
the federal
says,
government money came, she was putting it in her pocketbook and
Of course
running.
she was.
And she's been charged. Now in federal court.
That's the one before.
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
But now, if somebody brings it up now what? It's just because black people live there. That's all it is.
And by the way, isn't it interesting too that the left now sets the parameters for conversations?
Oh yeah, I mean,
you're a misogynist, you're a homophobe, you're a hater, you're this, you're that, you're 9 other things.
But
and
if somebody,
it's okay for them to say it.
If somebody on their side or their type says it, it's constructive.
Yeah, but if President Trump says it,
or else,
boy.
yeah.
By the way, Baltimore's in first place as far as homicides are concerned, too.
Did you see the stats?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Folks, when you take homicides, you got to take into account what the base population is.
Yep.
One of the latest figures for homicides for the city of Baltimore per capita is higher than Guatemala, in Venezuela, all these countries where people are fleeing because of the high crime rate.
In New York, which has a population, I believe, 14 times Baltimore's population.
Yeah, easy.
Baltimore had more homicides, not per capita.
Total.
Total.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, while national poverty rates have dropped from 14.8 to 12.3 since 2014, Baltimore's remains unchanged at 22.4.
Yep. Don't forget, this is a city that one time had 3.5 million people in it. There are now a little over 600,000. People have bailed out.
Where'd they all go? There's lots of empty buildings
You
there.
betcha.
Nobody's moving in. They're all moving out. And you know what? The Democrats have run Baltimore for 5 decades. They run the city council, the mayor's office, the city council, the school system, the sanitation system, the housing authority, and the police department. Absolutely incredible.
And they got the capability of changing. They did a great job with that or the harbor side.
Yeah.
That is the nicest thing.
In the harbor, yeah.
Yeah, Inner Harbor. When I was there, that was 50-some years ago. When I spent time in Baltimore, it was a dump. It was rat infested already then. And it was old broken down, what they call them, white stones or red stones or some of the ones with the steps on it. Mm-hmm. But you didn't dare go into those neighborhoods.
No.
Even then, 50 years ago, you didn't go, or 55 years ago. But they did a good job. They did a better job than Boston had done with their urban renewal on the inner city.
Yeah.
But the rest of it never went anyplace after that.
I had a rep in Baltimore, Bob Hacker, and his father before him had started the business. And he gave me exacting directions on how to find his place. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't come in a straight line. You got to go around. You got to go down here. Don't go through this neighborhood, but drive all the way down here and then come back. He said, "I'm doing this for your own safety, Bill."
I know.
And I said, "I thank you very much, Bob."
First time I recall an account in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I pulled in the yard, the parking lot, and it had a fence with a gate, and you pulled up and you told them who you were, and this gate would slide open. You go in, it's all surrounded by barbed wire. I went to see the buyer, and he says, "How'd you get in here?" "Oh, I came down off 95, came down this road right down here." "Oh my God," he says, "don't do that." He says, "None of us drive down that street, even in the daytime."
You know, it was so bad, too, in Detroit. Exactly what Dwayne just said. You go to a business to call on them, and you go beep, beep, and then there'll be a squawk box.
Yep.
"Yes, who are you?" "Bill Crane, here to see Dwayne Weiss." "Okay, Mr. Crane, drive down, we'll open the gate for you." And a motorized gate would open up, you'd drive in, and you'd be behind not just chain link fence, but with barbed wire on
Barbed
top.
wire. This had razor wire or rolls of it in the top.
It was like going into a prison.
Yep.
And that's how they were able to survive in a Detroit. Yeah, amazing.
The buyer said years ago, before they put the fence up, he said, "I came out from work one day, and there was 3 young punks ripping my antenna off." And he says, I yelled at them, and they looked at me. They gave me this cold look. He says, "That's all right, keep it.
Take it."
I'm not going out there.
The place I went to, the guy met me at the door. Of course, the door is locked too, and he said, "I hope this all doesn't scare you. The preparations we have to maintain around here to stay in business." But he said, "Take a look at our building." He said, 2 weekends ago, they tore off every piece of copper flashing we had on the roof.
That's a big thing now.
And they got over.
Yep. They also pointed out, did you notice, and I did notice, when you came down that street, and this is a school day in September maybe or October, kids all over, playing in the street, playing games in the street, running back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like a summer school or vacation day. Yeah. And he said that the buyer said, it's like that all the time. He said, if you see these kids, do they ever go to school?
They don't. And therein lies the tale of why this whole inner city system we have has got to change.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I don't. Number one, I don't think we have the political will to do it. Number two, I think there'd be tremendous blowback from the community. What do you mean coming in here and telling us we have to do this and we have to do that? We'll take care of it ourselves. Well, we've been watching 100 years of them take care of themselves, and it doesn't work. But anyway, oh, by the way, I thought that this morning Larry Kudlow was on Fox Financial, and he threw out a one-liner, and I forget how he led into it, but things that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
A voter ID card.
A vulgar ID
National
card?
Voter
Oh,
ID.
voter. I thought you
yeah.
said vulgar. I said, well, I'm going to have to get one of them.
A voter ID, a national card.
National ID. I know. A lot of countries have them.
Listen, I think every civilized country has them.
Some of the socialized Scandinavian countries have them.
What did you and I carry?
Military?
You bet.
Oh, you never went any place without it.
You absolutely
Yep.
don't go any place without it. Your military ID, and around your neck was what?
ID, dog tags.
Your dog tags.
Yep.
Now, so that was that humiliating to you?
No, not at all.
No, it was necessary. Why is a national ID card humiliating
fact,
to
if you
one
were-
group of people?
The only problem was if you were under 21 in a military town, the bartender always wanted to see your military ID, and you couldn't fake that one.
Absolutely, but by the same token, back in those days, at least back.
Not that
when
Bill and I would have ever
No.
tried to get in under 21.
Do you know that the first time I was carded in a bar, I was 23 years old.
Yep.
I started going to bars when I was 18 and 19. But I always went with older guys.
Yeah, if you're in a group of older
Yeah.
guys, that works.
And after you've been there 3 or 4 times, hey, Bill, what do you have? You know.
Of course, where I grew up,
Well,
it didn't matter. Some of them country bars, if you could reach up and put your dollar up on the bar, you were old enough.
absolutely right. Folks, the Boston Globe, which I must tell you, and I say this in all honesty, they're losing. If we go and look back at the old Globe years ago, they prided themselves on the excellence of their reporting in the content of their newspaper. If we agree to buy off on what the Globe was 30 years ago, or 35 or 40 years ago, what they are today is a absolute shadow of what they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they are at times almost unreadable.
Yeah, they've lost sight of what a newspaper, I think, should be. Newspaper should be news,
That's right.
basically, or primarily. And you can have your opinion on this side if you want, but the Globe has gone flipped.
All
They
opinion.
are totally all opinion, all trying to impress that opinion and change it to what they think. I don't want somebody like the Boston Globe telling me what's right, what's wrong, what to do, and what not to do.
It's like college professors
Yep,
today.
exactly.
My way or the highway. Either swallow what I have to say or you get a D.
I'll tell you, and I get the Wall Street Journal, and I have found that newspaper to be extremely fair and thorough on the news. A lot of it's economic based, but still they do carry the news stuff. And when they have a story and the Globe has a story, just the way the Globe spins it, they're two different things. And there's so many things you find in other newspapers. You find that in the Herald. The Globe never mentions it. They will not go close to that story at all.
They won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So anyway, the Globe had this big special about us arriving at the moon 50 years later.
I love great pictures.
Yeah. So on the back page, they had this big bar here that says, what should our next moon shot be? Now, going to the moon, JFK
Yep.
was the fellow that said, we need to go to the moon. And 11 years, 10 years later, 9 years later, whatever it was that JFK said that, we were in the moon, on the moon. So, but it was like a Manhattan Project that developed the
That's exactly
A-bomb.
how they did it.
Yeah,
All out.
all out.
Just
Absolutely.
whatever it takes, do it.
Yep. So it seems to me that what should our next moonshot be? So they asked a bunch of people. Now, this is absolutely amazing. I don't want to tell you what's going to happen, but I'm going to read these, highlight them. And all I can say is, well, let's try the first one.
Okay.
My moonshot for today centers around our country becoming America's town halls for the 21st century. Our future depends on the active cultivation of collective space where we can practice compassionate citizenry in wrestling with the most pressing issues of the day. Diane Paulus, Artistic Director of the American Repertoire Theater. And I wrote down, as Brits would say, a bumbling prat. This is what her wish is for our next huge step forward.
Yep.
Nonsense. Here's Jessica Tang, president of the Boston Teachers Union.
Yep.
You'll never guess what this is going to be.
Oh boy.
After finally receiving sustainable full funding and unwavering public support for students, family, and educators, public schools across the nation are institutions of equity, joy, and prestige that anyone is proud to be part of. President of the Boston Teachers Union. What a vision, huh? From a union hack.
That's right.
Here's Daniel Rothman, a professor of geophysics at MIT. We need to understand how the Earth system responds to environmental change. This requires innovative monitoring of the modern environment, detailed analysis of blah, 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 blah. Just exactly what you'd expect from a professor of geophysics.
But that has a core of sense to it. Just a core. But
yeah.
The rest of them are just total nonsense.
To be blunt, today's equivalent of a moonshot is an affordable, unsegregated, non-gentrified city of Boston, one that actually works for all. And this is Vickiana Pettit-Holm, Regional Director for March of Our Lives and an incoming freshman at the University of Massachusetts. A nice dream, but
Yep.
nothing substantive.
Oh, absolutely.
Again.
No, it's all pie in the sky.
Yeah.
It's all.
This one, Pam Ettinger, president of Bunker Hill Community College. This will shock you, Dwayne.
No, it won't.
Universal higher education for the first 2 years. Tuition, books paid, and fees paid. Gee, a president of a community college.
Gee, yeah, I would.
Yeah, that's the most important thing she could think of.
Yep.
Bill McKibben, author and environmentalist. A country that's cut carbon emissions 50% by 2050. As the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change recommends, it's hard, more like landing the whole population on the moon, but by no means impossible. So this is what he's saying is we could land the whole population of the U.S. on the moon? Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, look, at the rate we're going, without doing anything extraordinary, we're cutting carbon emissions.
You notice they didn't ask any real person there.
Yeah.
There are always these
Yeah.
head of this and the head of that, and the people that don't think like regular people do. And then they wonder why they lost the election. They don't understand. I'm going to use two terms here: Joe Sixpack and blue collar.
Yeah.
They
right.
don't have a clue what the rest of the country
That's
thinks.
exactly right.
It's always this elite group
That's right.
that they quote everything here.
The beautiful people.
Yep.
Harper Reid said today's moonshot would be the same moonshot as the one 50 years ago, but with the goal of staying on the moon. And she was a technologist, she is a technologist, and former chief technology officer for Obama 2012 re-election campaign. Go to the moon and stay there. Colonize the moon.
Yep.
You know,
Oh.
if we don't have enough problems here on Earth. We got to go up there.
Well, yeah. First of all, there's so technically, so many hindrances to doing something like that. First of all, you could not survive. If you could build a habitat, the moon is being bombarded constantly with radiation. Even to get there and back there, their radiation exposure goes really high. The only way you could do that there or even on Mars, you're going to have to go underground. You're going to have to deal with everything. It's just the technology is so far from being able to do this.
And to what end?
Yeah.
What about the risk reward? How much money is it going to cost us, and what the hell is it going to get us back?
Now, you got to remember back in the Apollo 11 days, there was another motivation there, and that was to beat the Soviets. I think it was Soviets then.
Yeah.
There was a big race going on.
Yeah.
Who was going to put that man down on that moon first?
Yeah.
And that was an ulterior motive to get this thing going, and Russia just would have done anything to get the first man to step on that moon surface. In fact, they had a lander that landed at about the same time, but theirs crashed.
Yeah.
Not to land on it. No.
Interesting.
I guess something I saw yesterday that's really interesting that fits with this. Another one.
Here's one. A giant leap towards economic mobility, defined as the chance for all Americans to earn a family-sustaining wage from work that offers purpose, satisfaction, and value. President Trump is working on that, and he's having a lot of success. This comes from Elizabeth Babcock, Chief Executive of Economic Mobility Pathways, a charitable organization that seeks to help low-income families. Notice something, folks? Every one of these people addresses the problem using their own ox.
Yep.
Okay? Never mind what's good for the rest of the country or the world. It is what's good for my narrow point of view.
Everything's very parochial in this, and it's very narrow-sighted. We did spend a lot of money going to the moon, but there was a lot of benefits that they got from it, a lot of technical benefits.
Yeah.
A lot of products we use every day came out of the programs like this. They would have never been developed when they did. Probably, they still would have probably been, but they may have been as technology caught up. But
this is a sweet one. All children, regardless of race, ethnicity, legal status, or family income, will have the support and opportunity to thrive and the preparation necessary to succeed as adults. This will require a nationwide commitment to place children's well-being at the center of key public and private sector decisions, from economic and workplace policies to health care and education, to protecting the environment.
How did you and I ever succeed without all these liberal programs?
Blind, dumb luck.
How did our adult kids ever make it? You know, my God, dude, to listen to these, they just are just they're hopeless. They're doomed.
Yeah. And this was written by Carol Emig. Guess what she does? She's the president of Child Trends, a research organization focused on improving the lives of children and youth, especially those who are vulnerable. That's about as narrow a prism as you can get. Folks, these people here are not deep thinkers. This is about as shallow as it gets.
I have never seen so many organizations as there are in the Boston metro area. Look at if you read the letters to the editor, particularly in the Globe, they're the president and CEO of People for Elm Trees Association, left-handed dogs, people with Farsighted Commission, CEO. Who are these people? How do they get paid? And why do they exist? But there's just thousands of these things.
This just gets better.
Oh, I know. You can go on forever with that thing.
The transformation of our food system, such that what we eliminate is the incidence of diet-related chronic diseases and inflammation. Inflammation's a bitch, I'll tell you. The practice of regenerative medicine, such that the negative medical consequences of biological aging cease to exist. Well, we're just going to live forever.
That's right.
So is this the ultimate nanny state, or what? That we have to eat. Oh, here's your portions for the day. Here's your breakfast. Here's your lunch. Here's your dinner, and they're all in crappy little cardboard containers with plastic, not plastic spoons.
Oh, no.
They got to be renewable. And now eat this, and then we won't have any diet-related problems or inflammation. Good Lord. And this is Ed Gaskin, founder of Sunday Celebrations, a company that focuses on good-for-you gourmet food. Talk about the narrow prism, folks. Huh? These people were asked mind-expanding questions. Mind-expanding question. Consider all the things that we could do. What would be the most important thing to rival going to the moon? We could do nationally or internationally, and listen to the pablum that these fools serve up. Here's a good one. The American legal system is stacked in favor of the wealthy and powerful. We need a civil Gideon and a justice system that works for all. And this is Szilárd Singh, Harvard law student and founding organizer of the People's Parity Project.
By case in point, who the hell is that, and how do they make their living doing this?
I wonder if they'd like to swap our legal system with India's legal system.
And those Harvard law students that expound this. Oh, we've got to do this for goodness of mankind and make sure everybody has access to legal. When they get out and they go to work for some big law company, do you think they say, oh, don't pay me no $600 an hour. I'll do this for $10 an hour.
Sure.
Because I want the poor people to have legal.
Give the rest of the money to the
Harvard
poor.
law graduates don't do that.
Oh.
This goes on to something it relates to this. Yesterday, and this was a pleasant surprise. I was channel surfing like I usually do about 3 o'clock, and there wasn't a damn thing on. Out of 300 and some channels, I couldn't find anything that would have went on. So I went over On Demand. I started searching around movies, and I came across one. You probably have seen it. It was 2015, was called Interstellar.
No.
It turned out to be great. If you see it, you can find it on demand under free movies. Watch it. It's a long movie. It's almost 3 hours long. And it's complex because it deals with time, space contortium, and going back in time and forward in time. And it drove my wife nuts. She hates that.
Oh, me too.
She said, "Oh, what the hell is that about?" Because they're telling you about a wormhole and passing through time. And she did not like it at first, but she got used to it.
Yeah.
The story is very complex. I don't intend to go in here. And the graphics and the special effects are tremendous.
Really?
The story is so complex, and it's got a twist at the end that you did not see it coming. I had to explain it to Monica because there's a time element there. How can he be in that room with a young daughter? And she's an adult now. I said, "Oh God, she went back in time." I don't like that.
Back to the Future.
I don't like that, she said. But watch it, folks. You remember Space Odyssey at 2001?
No, my wife doesn't let me watch that stuff.
At the end, they went faster than the speed of light and went back in time, and
all that stuff.
But that was really confusing.
Yeah.
I've seen that 3 or 4 times trying to understand the ending, and I still don't understand it.
Did you ever see Cross of Iron?
No.
Oh, first of all, great book, but a great movie. And the last scene, the last page in the book, I cannot understand what happened. I've read it 50 times.
I've had books and movies like that.
Boy. The next one, I'm not going to read it, but he wants to go colonize Mars. Again, madness.
Just technically, that's so crazy. It's 9 months to get there. Not only 9 months. When you send a radio signal, it takes 20 minutes to get there and 20 minutes to get back. So if you want to say hello and they want to say hello, you got a 40-minute time span.
That's good.
It's nuts.
Teenagers wouldn't like that.
No, God, your cell phones ain't going to be much good there.
I like this one, though. Of all of them, I think this is my favorite. Stopping the slide towards the apocalypse of climate change. Organize a Manhattan Project of 1,000 scientists to develop solutions. Sign up 10 million worldwide to be in the Climate Change Corps to carry out plans in every country and each household, setting goals and making pledges.
I'd like to know how you're going to pull that off.
1,000 scientists means there'll be 1,000 opinions.
Yep.
And the last people in the world that are practical are scientists.
Oh, yeah.
Engineers, scientists, most impractical bunch of people I think I've ever known in my life. What you need to do is to get a couple of businessmen together that have started businesses of their own and know how to get things accomplished.
Yeah. This is what it is. This is what it's going to cost.
Yeah.
This is what it'll give us. Speaking of giving, folks, I don't want to get up on, but this is important. You're going to have to contact your legislator. Do you know there's a bill pending in the Mass legislature right now called Universal Basic Income?
Yeah.
They want to give a program to give 100 people $1,000 a month for 3 years to see what it does to the economy.
And to what the impact is on the individual people too, yeah.
Now, that's $36,000 over 3 years, 100 people, that's $3.6 million, and it's not going to do a damn thing. You might as well take $3,600,000 and just blow it in the wind.
It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And I want to know who the 100 people are, how are they going to be selected?
It's not going to be you and I.
It won't be us. But it's just a total waste of money.
Yeah, and you know the sad part about it is some of the folks in the legislature are not deep thinkers.
Oh, my.
And they may say, 3.6 million? Oh, what the hell?
We got a $40 billion budget.
We spend that on Chinese food.
That's right, just about. And
So-
there was another one coming up that you've got to be careful of. Medicare for all. You hear the Looney Tunes on these debates talking about free Medicare for everybody. Well, guess what? There's some Looney Tunes in the state legislature in Massachusetts that, regardless what happens nationally, they want to do it in Massachusetts all by ourselves.
Because Massachusetts showed the way on health insurance.
That will cost billions for us.
And not only that, folks, but Medicare is an insurance plan for the elders. And if you open it up to everybody, it is going to get de-watered. The elderly are going to go to the back of the line. Hospitals are going to go bankrupt because of the payment schedule. Right now, they take elderly patients because they know they can offset it with the younger patients, the money brought in by the younger patients. But when everybody these rates cannot stay at this rate. They're going to go skyrocketing, just like the health plans that are out there now.
You heard them say about universal health care and having the government take care of your health policies.
Yeah.
Well, I wish one of them would have said, how about the VA? How's that working out?
How about the Indian reservations?
Yeah, that program.
How about Indian health care?
Yep.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
You don't want the government taking care of your health care.
Absolutely not. This is good. You'll never guess. I'm going to read to you who said this. A quantum computer to solve otherwise impossible problems in chemistry and material sciences. Chad Rigetti, quantum computing physicist and the founder and chief executive of Rigetti Computing. Do you ever see one of these guys? They have to have the fastest and the most complex handheld computer to do their problems. This guy just wants the federal government to develop a huge one so that he can do his stuff faster. And talk about the narrow prism again, folks. This is the narrowest yet. And it goes on and on and on. Protect and restore. Now, I go along with this. Okay. Protect and restore coastal ecosystems as a solution for climate, food security, and safety. Wetlands and mangroves can absorb 5 times more CO2 than temperate forests. Serve as a nursery habitat for fish and lobsters, and provide better storm protection than seawalls.
That's sensible.
It is.
We got 5, Bill.
Ayanna Johnson, marine biologist and founder and chief executive of Ocean Collective, a strategy consulting
somehow
firm.
A sensible one sneaks in there.
But the point is, they asked these people to expand their minds and make suggestions based on going to the moon, the importance thereof.
And they went off on these tangents that just didn't make any sense.
Every single one of them had a self-serving motive.
We got 5, Bill.
Okay. It just keeps on going on. I'm disgusted with the whole thing. And it's just, if this is the Globe's idea of a cross-section
they're
of their readership, this is an insult to everybody that reads this stupid paper. I must rethink my policy on reading this paper. Ruins my day every morning.
Oh, me too.
Drives me nuts. I'm not a well man to start with.
Well, Bill's looking for something there.
Yeah, go ahead. Lay it on me.
You remember old Sal DeMasi?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Well, he got out of prison on a medical sympathy. We have to feel sorry. Poor Sal, his mother or his wife said he's almost dead. He's dying in prison. You can't keep him in there any longer. Well, guess what Sal's doing now? He's a lobbyist, or trying to be. The state won't give him a license. But he's lobbying for the Newberry Streets people right now.
He looks very healthy, too.
Oh, he suddenly got well, and he's healthy. And you know what a lobbyist? He influences other people. And he does it by going out at night with them, dining them, wining them.
Whining them.
Whining them. Oh,
and
absolutely.
beering them, too.
Absolutely. It's a long, hard, tenuous job. You're never home. You're always with some clients. But poor Sal, he was dying. He was near death's door. Here to come find out he's only one of 4 people that ever got this medical leave, this sympathy leave.
Yeah.
And now what is he doing? Hell, the next thing you're going to see, he's going to be working as a lumberjack or something.
Yeah, he looks perfectly healthy to me. Popping around.
So,
Do you realize 70 to 75% of the managers at Walmart started out working for them at minimum wage?
Walmart's big on promoting for guys that come in and just start as temporary workers and they end up in management.
93% of the stories written about President Trump or disseminated on television are negative.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
93%. Amazing.
Yeah. Walmart at Bentonville, Arkansas, that corporate headquarters is full of management people, not just store management, but corporate management of people that started in the store, maybe in the back room, doing something or stocking shelves.
Talk about, these are the practical ones that know what's going on. By the way, Bernie Sanders' staff rebelled and demanded $15 an hour.
The $15 minimum wage. He wasn't paying it.
He relented. He's paying them $15 an hour, but he cut his hours.
Cut the hours down. What a hypocrite.
That's Bernie. That's what he's going to do, folks. Listen, thank you so much for tuning in today. I spent too much time on this trying to make a point.
Next time we'll have some happy stuff.
Well, next time,
a little, not
agonizing stuff maybe, but I'll do a better. We'll do a better show next time. I got
just too short a time.
I got my neck in a knot over this.
Oh yeah.
Hypocrisy of the globe. So, folks.
Sorry, that 3.2 million got me going too. I was madder than hell when I read that.
Man alive, I'll tell you. Folks, have a wonderful next couple of weeks, and we'll be back at you with a much better show, I hope.
Oh,
so there. Good night. Or
have a nice
summer. Or whatever the heck is going on.